You know, personal growth and all the things that I talk about, they're all linked to one particular goal, and that's to live a full and complete life. And a full and complete life is a life that you're happy and content with who you are, what you do, and what you stand for. All right? And the only way to be content and happy with who you are, what you do, and what you stand for is if you're living an authentic life, if you're authentically being yourself. Because when you're not authentically being yourself, you cannot possibly expect to have those things, because that means you're now trying to shapeshift yourself into some expectation of other people or expectation of society, and that will always lead to conflict within yourself. And how you do that is you understand your core set of values. Okay, our society today puts a lot of pressure on us to conform to what it believes that our values should be. Okay, to what it believes should be important to us, to what it believes that is in today. Once again, the things that are considered acceptable in society today were not acceptable 20 or 30 years ago. However, good people have remained the same because good people have a core set of values that they live by, And if you can stick to your core set of values, what you'll find is you'll find way more contentment, way more happiness, and way more peace in what you do. Okay? The other thing that we have to understand about living according to your set of values, when you start living according to your set of values, when you start driving your own bus, when you start being in charge of your own life, what it does is it inspires the people around you to do the same. It attracts people to you because people are attracted to authentic people. Okay? If you look around the world, what you will find is you will find that the people who they're just simple people living their lives, but they have a certain draw to them, and that draw is their authenticity. All right? Exactly. It's more so about being classic, being authentic, being unique. Okay, we're all unique. You don't have to try to shape yourself into being someone else. You don't have to create yourself. You're already a masterpiece. All you have to do is own who you are and polish it up. That's the thing I tell people. Your core, who you are to the core, all right, is way more valuable than people always are trying to find themselves and stuff like that. You don't have to find yourself. You already are who you are. All you have to do is spend enough time with yourself to find out who you truly are. I think that's the biggest problem with people is people just don't take the time to find out who they really are. The moment they get into society, they start taking suggestions from other people about who they should be, what they should look like, what they should talk like, what they should find important, what they should find attractive, what they should find interesting. Okay? And so they never wind up taking a step back and saying, but wait a minute, what's important to me? What are my values? And so that's why people seem to always be searching. People seem to not be consistent with who they are. And that's one of the things I will say that I was fortunate to discover very early in life was having a strong sense of self, being able to drive my own boat, being able to understand who I was, being able to make decisions based on my values. Does everything I do agree with everything in society? Absolutely not. But I don't live for society. I live for me. Okay? And I try to be of service to society. But you have to put your core set of values first, because our society is, as you can see, our society's got some issues, if you will. And society itself has some issues. Because when you have people who run society that have different agendas and perversions and what have you, you'd be surprised what they will pass off to you as normal and or good. Okay? You have to have your own set of beliefs. And once you have those set of beliefs, once again, now you inspire people. Okay? You inspire people with your leadership, with your ability to be you. with your ability to allow your true self to come out and shine. But you can't do that when you're being inauthentic. Okay? Being inauthentic is not sustainable. As a matter of fact, it's extremely difficult to go out there every single day and pretend to be something that you're not. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going out and being so unsure of who you are because you have to be able to shift and shape and all that kind of stuff, but depending on who you meet or what situation you're in or who's watching? That's exhausting just to think about it. It's absolutely exhausting. And once again, I tell you guys this all the time. I give myself as an example. The only way I'm able to do social media is to be myself. Okay? And the people who have met me will tell you that's exactly who I am. I am myself. Because I could not imagine standing in front of people and talking to them and having to pretend to be something that I'm not. Having to pretend to be a whole different person. I mean, imagine how uncomfortable that would be walking out in public. And then having to run into people and then automatically switch on this person. Okay? People are attracted to authenticity. Even the people who don't like you are still attracted to your authenticity. And don't get me wrong, just because you're being you does not mean everybody will like you. That's not the goal. The goal is not for everybody to like you. The goal is for you to like you. The goal is for you to be satisfied with your life. You can't live your life, based on what other people think. The goal is for you to be satisfied with your life. How messed up of a life is it if you're unhappy with who you are, but everybody else is happy with who you are? That's what you find with a lot of people. You find a lot of people who live their lives and they're being inauthentic, and they have a whole slew of people that love this character that they've created. But that character is not them. That creates an intense amount of turmoil. And that actually leads a lot of people to anxiety and depression. If you're not being authentic, it affects everything you do. If you're not being authentic, sooner rather than later, it will lead to illness because it throws off your balance. It throws everything off. When you look at people and you look at the high levels of depression that you see, the high levels of depression that you see is basically based on people looking at themselves and saying, I'm not able to live up to this standard of person that I claim that I am or that I want to be, or this life that I have, created or something like that, But they're not happy with who they are because they're not comfortable with who they are, because 9 times out of 10, they don't even know who they are. Okay? You have to live an authentic life. That is the only path to happiness. That is the only path to peace of mind. That is the only path to fulfillment. The first step in living your best life is to live your best life. Not the life that you think somebody else is going to admire. Not the life that you think somebody else wants to see. The life that you truly want. And the only way to know that is to get to know who you are. Get to know who you are. I've had conversations with people where, talking to them, people actually try to convince me of what I would like. And it makes me chuckle sometimes because, I'm a complex person. There are some things about me that are fairly simple, and there's certain things that are a little bit more complicated. But I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what turns me on and what doesn't. And it's a great feeling to know that. It's a fantastic feeling to know that. Because every idea is not a good idea for you. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean it's what you want to do. And it doesn't mean that I'm not open to suggestion. Yes, but I'm not open to manipulation. I'm not open to being pressured into anything, because I am confident with who I am and I know what I want because I know me. Now, we talked about it yesterday. I grow on a daily basis, so you know what? Some things change here and there, but the core of who I am does not change. And that's why I am happy. My happiness is not linked to financial success. My happiness is not linked to material things. My happiness is not linked to a job. My happiness is not even linked to social status. My happiness is linked to who I feel, who I think I am, and how I feel about myself. Okay? Note to self, Titus would never Note to self, Titus would never participate in your shenanigans unless Titus wants to participate in your shenanigans. Unless your shenanigans line up with my shenanigans, then no, it's not going to happen. No matter how appealing it looks. Okay? You have to learn how to be yourself. That is the key to everything. That is the key to unlocking your purpose, your passion, your happiness in your life. Be you. When you're you, the people who love you will find you. The people who are supposed to be with you will be with you. And you'll quickly get rid of all those people who don't belong, because they don't belong there anyway. They just don't. All right? Like I always tell you guys, the funny thing my dad says everybody's not going to like you. If everybody like you, that means you're doing something wrong or they're lying. But it's probably both. Okay? And that's the truth. And I've lived by that, and I've embraced the fact that people don't like me sometimes. It's okay. As long as I like me. As long as I can sleep with myself. As long as I'm good with who I am. That's where my peace of mind comes from. That's where my satisfaction comes from. That's where my contentment with my life comes from. And that's where my happiness will always be. You have to be happy with you.